Greetings, everyone. This is Mr. Nick Brownlee coming to you from the corner of Sinclair Lane and Urban Avenue with our next Friarside chat. I hope everybody had a great holiday. And with our interviews coming up over the next 2 weeks, Ms. Caroline and I wanted to reach out to talk to you a little bit about some interview do's and don'ts. Okay, so this might be the first time that you have had a formal interview. And just wanted, like I said, wanted to talk a little bit about some of those things that we suggest that you might do and some things you might want to avoid as well. So I'm going to cover the do's. All right, first thing you want to do when logging on, again, this is going to be a virtual interview. All right, so you're going to have your interview over Zoom, is you want to introduce yourself. All right, so introduce yourself, maybe introduce your parents who are going to be sitting in with you as well too, because you're going to be interviewing with one of Curly's faculty members. All right, so they haven't met you yet. All right, they're eager to meet you, but just make sure that you want to introduce yourself when you log on. Make sure also that you speak clearly. Okay, so you don't want to have like your head down and talking like this into your arm, or kind of looking away. Make sure that you guys are speaking clearly during your interview. All right. Also, we want to dress to impress. All right, so make sure that you have your shirt, you have your tie, all right, or bow tie, and you're looking good. Okay, and then think about your interviewer's gonna have some questions for you, all right, as well too. Nothing you can't handle, all right, for sure. But you want to give your thoughtful responses, thoughtful answers. Okay, so for instance, if the interviewer asked you something like, "Hey, what are some things you'd like to be involved in at Curly?" All right, you don't have to kind of start spitting things out right away. All right, take a minute, think about your response, and then give that thoughtful answer. All right, and also too, let your personality shine. All right, the interview is a great way for folks at Curly to get to know you a little bit better, for you to get to know folks here at Curly as well too. And don't be afraid to brag about yourself. All right, this is a time where, hey, if you've done some good things in your community, you talk about, hey, I'm really into math and science, and I do really well in math and science, and I'm thinking about doing engineering. All right, these are things you want to talk about. All right, and don't be afraid to, like I said, brag about yourself a little bit. Talk about awards you've won. All right, those sorts of things as well too. All right, so that's your do's for the interview, and Miss Caroline's going to cover the don'ts.
Thank you, Mr. Brownlee, for covering the do's. I'm here now to cover the don'ts with you for your interview. So the first thing we want you guys not to do is to make sure that you're not using one-word answers. Your interviewer is going to ask you questions. As Mr. Brownlee said, you want to make sure you're giving thoughtful responses. So don't use one-word answers. Don't answer with just a yes or a no when they ask you a question. The second thing would be, don't look away when you're speaking. Since these interviews are going to be conducted via Zoom, it is kind of hard sometimes to make sure you're focusing on the person you're talking to, but make sure that you're still maintaining that good eye contact. Make sure your face is in the frame of the camera. Don't show us your ceiling fan. We want to see you. This interview is all about you. The third thing would be to make sure you don't leave your camera off. Again, we want to meet you. We want to see your shining, smiling face. So make sure that you turn your camera on as soon as you come into the room. The fourth thing would be, make sure you don't conduct the interview in a noisy place. We want to get to know you. We want to get to know your family. So make sure that you're choosing a quiet place to conduct your interview. And last but not least, don't stress. We want this to be a positive experience. Our faculty and staff is looking forward to meeting you, learning more about you, and meeting your family. These questions aren't anything that you can't handle. We know that you will do great. So promise us that you won't stress and you'll make the best out of this opportunity. We look forward to seeing you over the next 2 weeks for your interviews. If you have any questions, know that you can always contact Mr. Brownlee and I.